Hello, welcome to Gamers Watch. It is episode 51, I believe, which is a tweak of the thumb in bingo.
Is that your own one?
No, that's the new list
Is
that
it?
I got. Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Is that official bingo calling? This
I
new
don't
list?
know. It's a Wikipedia page, so it's. Let me get it back up.
What's a tweak of a thumb?
List of British bingo nicknames.
Like
nicknames. Nicknames.
Hell, what else would it be? What if someone said to you, Paul, tweak your thumb? What would you do with it? You try and smoke it or something? Oh, you just give it a little
tweak of it.
You tweak it, wouldn't you?
What do you mean tweak it?
Tweak it.
What do you do when you tweak something?
A little tweak.
Give it a little
all
tweak.
it says though, the rest of them say like a reference of where it comes from. This one just says rhymes with 51.
Yeah.
That's what they were running out of ideas once they got to 51.
If I said, Paul, do me a favour, mate, would you give your nips a little tweak? What would you do? We're on a video. What would you do? Show me. There you go. Now do it. It's your thumb. Sorted. There you go. Your answer.
Great start. We're off to.
What the purpose would be?
What a great start.
I don't know. Bit of arthritis. Give it a little tweak. Right as rain. Tune in next week for.
I actually like now reading the list. I can't wait for week 53.
Oh, what's 53? All right, let me have a quick little sneaky peek. I'm guessing we're on the same list.
Well, it's Wikipedia. I mean, how much can it really? Vary?
I've got two options for 53.
Yeah, but the second one is my favourite.
Second one, okay. I'll make sure to do the second
and
one.
And also 52, the second one out of the three, is my favourite. Introduced by Butlins in 2003. It doesn't even really rhyme.
What?
No.
52 is 52. It's 3 syllables, whereas their option is 5 syllables, so it doesn't really even rhyme.
No.
They tried.
I don't get that.
Good job, Butlins.
C+. Anyway. I am Shaun, and as always with me is Duncan.
Hi, great mates.
And today we're joined by the Thistledew crew of Paul.
Hello.
And Zo.
Howdy.
And no Harry. Because he is now...
I'm kidding.
Who's got the party poppers? He's now officially a double dad. Like, within the past hour and a half of us recording, I think.
I mean, stolen our thunder a little bit.
I know.
Do you want to split? Whatever.
Well, we're releasing this next week, so it's fine. It'll be old news by then.
So then, like a week and an hour and a half.
Yeah. And with Harry gone, we're basically changing everything. So, firstly, we can see our beautiful faces now, and also no more angry Duncan. That's the main thing.
Imagine that. And just be nice to each other. It's crazy, isn't it? Can't believe it.
Strange world we're living in now. Although there was 2 things that I thought about when changing to this video thing is, one, I can't do Discord selfies now because you're just gonna see me like lean back into my chair like trying to take these photos.
So do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just do it live action.
Get the proper. What you got to do is you get your phone, set it to selfie, jam it into your chest, jam your chin in, and go.
Hang on.
That's how it's done.
I think we should give it a go. Does it help if like you're like me, you've got like a bit of a gut, so it kind of sit on it?
I mean, it can do. You just hold the phone, and then you pop it in the Discord script like so, and there you go.
I'm loving this tutorial. This is such a life hack.
Oh, I'm going to do a separate YouTube video of this.
Hang on a minute.
I've just seen it.
See, I've got too much of a beard to show the double chin, which incidentally is why I have a beard to hide my double chin. So.
I would if I could grow one. This is as good as it gets, and then it goes really like curly hobo-y. So like instead of going down, it goes like outwards.
Why? Whenever I do that kind of thing, I've got like a real like pear drop shaped head. It's like an upside down light bulb. Whenever I kind of do the whole
upside down light bulb.
All right. I've got massive self-esteem today.
Oh.
Just to explain what's happening in the background
I'm
here,
sorry.
one of our dogs is just not happy today.
He's like, I want to be on the podcast, you guys. Where's
Well,
my
bring him on.
setup?
Yeah,
Bear,
hook
Bear,
a
come
mic up.
Give the people what they want.
here. Come here. Okay, are you gonna have one? I'll have the
Right,
other.
I'll take
Right,
one,
give
yeah.
me the little one.
Oh, come here. Come on.
Yo.
What's it?
You
What are their
bring them up.
names?
Oh. So this is Evie.
Evie,
And this is Brewer.
Brewer.
Is that all right? Brewer's a rescue, and he was originally from the RAF base here, so he's kind of from down south. So he kind of talks a bit like that. A bit like you,
And-
Dunks, but like really, really high pitched.
Yeah, they are.
And he's a wee Romanian rescue that was rescued from a kill shelter, and I'm not going to do her accent for obvious reasons.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Right, you quite
So-
having to go back down now.
There was one other thing as well that I thought of when we decided to do the video. Is anyone that's watched previous episodes knows that there's a chain reaction of laughter that's set off if I hear Duncan like proper wheezing, laughing. So I don't know what it's going to be like if I can also see him proper wheezing, laughing. I might not be able to stop, but we'll find out.
See Brewer's little face, like,
all right,
looking
great
up at the
Oh. So we're 7 minutes into this already. I'll get the housekeeping done quickly.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy this podcast, and even if you don't, be sure to share it with your, what are we doing today? Local Jordan, apparently, and tell him he is beautiful and to have a great day. And you might get a bare ass picture out of it. And also,
Probably will.
big up to Sheila. And then
Big up, Sheila.
after that, big up Sheila. Make sure
up,
to
Sheila.
follow us on Twitter, which is @GamersWatchCrew. Subscribe to us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/GamersWatch. Like, and if you can, comment, review this episode on your platform of choice. And then also on YouTube, hit the notification bell to be reminded when we're about to premiere, which is every Monday. I'm going to get this right. 7:30 p.m. GMT, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 Central, and 11:30 in the morning Pacific. I got it right. I'm reading
done.
it. I got it right. Thanks.
Well done, mate.
That's the housekeeping. Let's jump right into it, shall we?
Yeah,
Duncan,
so
do
yeah.
you want to talk briefly about something?
I do. So,
Okay.
obviously, everyone's seen today. Is it the Linkin Park guy? I don't know his name. He's talking about how NFTs are great and just doesn't understand it. But there's a thing that came out in November that's been doing the rounds called Cryptoland. I've put the link in there. They might have a go at us because we're slagging them off, but whatever, you daft cunts.
Little mob.
So it's basically. I thought it was a virtual island, like the whole metaverse future of people wearing a mask and visiting like a different world. Apparently, this is like a physical but also virtual island in Fiji where really poorly animated people can go and hang out in a virtual space, but also real space. But like the brilliant thing is that this Bored Ape monkey thing. You can buy NFTs of the mascot. So I watched the video, but it's basically some I don't know, early 2000s animated guy turns up and he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm here, what a great flight. And then this massive coin turns up and I'm convinced he's modelled after like Mike Wazowski, and he's like, hey Johnny, thanks for coming, let me give it a tour. And he's showing him around this island, and you can buy property in the blockchain hills, get it. And there's like a little place where you can hang out, and it's like, well, do you want a cup of coffee? And it's like, well, yeah, but how are you going to drink that in virtual? I don't get it. if you go up to like if you're playing The Witcher, for example, and he's like, "Oh, do you want an ale?" You can't taste the fucking thing, so I don't understand why they're making a big deal out of like, "Oh, come, do you want some caviar?" And then like, "Oh, here's like a relaxing space." He's walking around, and it's just this massive safe on the beach, and you open it up, and it's just loads of virtual bitcoins in there, and the cunt jumps in like he's Cyril Sneer, having a little relax, jumping into metal. Like, it's so fucking stupid. And then like the video kind of cuts about halfway through, and then it's completely serious. Like I thought, this has got to be satire. It watches like a Black Mirror episode, and then do you ever see that thing years ago where it was that guy who's like Big Connect? It was like this massive auditorium of like the first wave of like crypto Bitcoin people, and like this huge kind of amphitheater full of idiots who are, and I know, actually no, Bitcoin does all right, but just mugs getting ripped off by these crypto people. But then it's like some like little tent that's been put up in a car park, but they're at the back with like this shaky hand cam, and it's just two like 20-somethings.
You okay, hun?
I just jumped on my tea. I'm sorry.
I did that to start with. What did you put in this shit?
I tried to hold it in.
Do you make a bad cup of tea?
No, I just decided to
You
inhale
right?
it.
All right then.
Oh, I thought it
You
was
right?
virtual.
It was...
Is this all of it?
No, it wasn't. I actually choked on my tea.
We rehearse this and everything. But yeah, I mean, it came out in November, and then it's just these two like obviously not very rich 20-somethings just wearing t-shirts like, yeah, we're going to build this amazing island in Fiji, and this is the future, and check it out. But then what they started doing, anyone who slags it off, they started like DMCA striking and things like that. But whatever, don't put out a shit trailer, you daft cunts. So Cryptoland, check it out. You might like it.
If we haven't been DMCA striked from this.
What does that mean? What is DMCA striked?
Yeah, just you get like
it's
a
like a
copyright strike on YouTube, don't you? But
Like a
but
cease
you
and desist sort of thing.
yeah, but you know, you just call it shit if you want. What's the problem?
It's like they're trying to get like ownership, like NFT style, of people's
Yeah.
opinions.
Well, it's like, I mean, like the NFT
Guys
thing
are
doesn't go
obsessed.
away. But I can't remember his name. The Linkin Park guy. He's like, oh, imagine buying a skin in Fortnite and then playing it in Valorant and then in Minecraft. It's like, well, have you ever played a game, you silly twat? Like all these idiots who are kind of involved in it and are buying up all like who are invested in it have got no understanding of how games work at all. So that's it. NFTs are fucking stupid. I just seen Geordie's picture. Sorry. On Discord.
Oh no. Oh no. I've got to put that up.
But Cryptoland is fucking shit. Check it out. But also, as we said, like Harry's a double dad. So if as much as Harry winds me up, everyone please message Harry and say congratulations. He's had a bit of a tough time recently, so you know he deserves all your love. But moving on, so segment 1, Shaun, how has Harry hurt you? In the past?
Let's have a look.
He's got receipts.
It's just, but nah.
Work in repair.
Oh, where do I start? So what's he done to me so far? I've already told the story of how I woke up with agonizing cramp at his in the middle of the night, and he woke up, laughed, and went back to sleep. He's claimed, although I don't remember, to have slipped me mushrooms at some point when we've like had a party.
Why you don't remember?
I remember that episode.
I believe it's something he would do, so I'm inclined to believe it.
Didn't he laugh at you when your knees got obliterated?
Laughed at, to be fair, everyone laughed at me at that point. Yeah, I got tackled in contact-free American football. And then
That's
I'm going to blame him for me not doing well at A-levels maths because I was sat next to him. So that's Harry.
How did you react when you got stuck in the box? or the crate?
Laughed. That's his reaction. Laughed. But yeah,
Oh,
I forgot
like
about that actually.
Yeah, so like the whole point of this segment, because I thought because we've got lots of new subscribers over the last few months, so I thought it'd be a nice chance for us to tell some disarming tales about ourselves to get people to know us a little bit more. But a while ago, Shaun, weren't you very poorly at work in a box, and Harry ignored you or something like that? Seems like something you do.
Yes, so it was about 3 years ago, I'd say now. I got gallstones at the start of the year, and it was it went on for about for about 8 months of the doctors and Torbay Hospital just being like, no, you're too young for it to be gallstones, and me saying to them, it's fucking gallstones, like check it. And the worst thing is, I got them to do the ultrasound. The nurse done the ultrasound and was like, you're riddled with gallstones. Riddled with them. And the doctor came back and was like, don't think that's causing the pain though. Like, I can't win. But anyway, in that time, because it got so bad, I couldn't eat at all. I was on those like liquid meal replacement drinks.
Nice.
So I couldn't eat at all. I've dropped about 4 stone in like 3 months through doing literally nothing but not being able to eat. And then just before I actually got signed off of work completely, I was I was in the warehouse at the back, and we got a big crate delivery, and I was like clearing it out. And what I used to do when I got to the bottom, if it was like small bits, I would climb over the like brackets and into the crate, and then like chuck the rest out, climb out. Climbed in, had like an attack on my gallstone, so I was in absolute agony, could not like stand up straight to climb back out. And I was in there for about an hour out the back in the warehouse until Harry decided to see where I was. And he came in, peeked over the crate, saw me huddled, and laughed.
I'm not surprised at all.
No. I think I can't even remember if he helped me out. To be fair, he might have just walked off, and I just helped myself out once I'd been able to stand up again. That's the great mate known as Double Dad Harry.
Double Dad. I will. Paul, you've got a story to tell, but I just want to read one out that Jordan sent us. Like, great mate Jordan. So my pal. Shall I do it in Jordan's voice? Shall I do a Jordan voice because he's proper gruff Essex, isn't he? My pal has many nights of drinks around this, and I met this girl there, and we got on great. Nothing serious because we didn't really meet up or talk outside the coincidence of us just both being mates at my mate's house on the same nights. Every time we were both there, the inevitable happened. We'd end up sharing a sofa, etc., etc. One night, she brings up her mum's blow-up bed, and we end up sharing that in the front room. 7 a.m. Sunday morning, I wake up soaking fucking wet. My bladder's and alcohol are a very bad mix. I'd absolutely soaked myself and her, but didn't realise in gallons of my piss. Me thinking I could be sneaky and not noticing the piss was in every little crevice of this airbed, snuck upstairs, cleaned myself up and came back down. At this point, she's awake and I'm already feeling super embarrassed, hoping she won't notice. What a stupid thing to wait for when she's covered in it, I know. As I walk back into the room, she says, Jordan, why am I wet? And me, in a blind panic, didn't know what to do. So in the worst accent ever, I just replied, aye, that'll be my piss. And then I left.
Such sympathy for this girl and for Jordan.
It's just... This is what made him put the accent on.
It's so funny.
Oh my god!
Love you, Jordan. Thank you for that. It's just so funny, and yeah, don't need to go about it anymore. So thanks, Jordan. Paul,
is this really the podcast to share with your local Jordan after telling his story in it?
Yeah, he loves it. I told him I was going to share it. We told him we love him. He's beautiful. Jordan, you're beautiful. Have a great day. Paul, Paul's
big up
got a
Sheila.
great story to tell. I'm not going to tell one this week.
So I've written some of it down, well, most of it down actually, because I wanted to make sure it was an accurate account of what happened. So we're gonna go back in time a little bit, and we're gonna start off where this began, and then we're gonna move through it. I won't be too long. So when I was 5, I had to get circumcised because I had a medical issue where my foreskin was too tight. This is already too much information than I know, but anyway. So that involved a lot of stitches.
So you might say, Paul, you don't come from the hood. Get it?
Why have I never thought of that? I'm so mad with myself.
That was brilliant. Okay, so that was when I was 5. So 30 years later, I had like a skin tag on the side of my shaft near the tip. So I went to the doctors because I was like, I hope this isn't an STI. And they were like, nah, it's just a skin tag. Just leave it alone. But I was self-conscious about it, so I was like, nah, I'm getting rid of this.
Oh, okay, 13 years later. I thought you said when you were 13, you're like, better
No.
go to the doctors, might be an STI. I was like, mate.
No. I was 18 at this point. So I like Googled how to get rid of skin tags, and it was like, but this Google search was more about like skin tags that you get like on your neck and stuff. It wasn't really like how to remove a skin tag on your penis. So I just read it up, and they're like, tie a thread around it, cut off the blood supply. Sound. So that's what I did. So I left it for like a week, and it hadn't fallen off, but it had gone like really dark, like almost like a wee scab. So I was kind of like, this isn't falling off. Maybe I should just pull it and just like kind of get it to come off. So that's the option I went with, and it was highly regrettable when I ripped it, and what came with it was what looked like fishing line coming out the side of my penis and excruciating pain. Like, I'm gonna faint pain. Like, I was just like, oh my god. I was upstairs in my bedroom, and I stayed with my parents at this point. So I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I've got this like weird fishing line, like wire coming out of my knob. What do I do? So I shouted at my mum. So I shouted at my mum. I'm at the top of the stairs. I'm like, Mum, I need you to look at something. And my mum comes and she's like, what are you wanting? And I'm like, can you look at my penis? And my mum's like, why?
Context-free flashing.
And I explained the situation to her, and you should have seen her face. She was just like, and this is Sheila, by the way,
Big
for
up
people
Sheila.
watching. Yeah, big up Sheila.
Big up, Sheila.
So she just looked at me like, what the fuck are you on about, and what is wrong with you? So I kind of like concealed my genitals the best I could, just exposing where this stitch was coming through. Oh my god, it was so embarrassing. And my mum was like, I don't know what to do. Go to the bathroom and try and pull it out. And I was like, okay, ma'am. So I went to the bathroom, and I'm like gritting my teeth, trying to grab this. Like, honestly, it looked like a really thin fishing wire. But you got to remember, 13 years of growth around this. Yeah, so it had nowhere to come out of. So I'm just like pulling endlessly. And I've written down here, it was like trying to pull the string off a balloon, like a deflated balloon, without untying it. So it was just stretching. And it was just horrific. I had to bite down on a towel. So yeah, anyway, I cut it with a pair of scissors because I gave up. Because I couldn't do it anymore. I was making myself feel sick. I thought I was going to faint. I was just like, no more. I can't take this. So I cut it with a pair of scissors and had like a bit left out, and I taped it down to the side of my shaft. And I made a doctor's appointment. However, being an 18-year-old teenage boy, or just male in general, you're going to get unwarranted erections at some point. So within that week, I got a boner, and because my penis increased in size, the stitch just went back in. And by the time I went to the doctors, it went back inside. And they were like, well, there's nothing we can do if we can't see it. And it's still there to this day.
Like, so your willy just went, like, just sucked it back up.
Yeah, it was like, it just had like some noodle soup and just...
Oh.
It was like eating spaghetti.
I don't know. I wanted to hear it again.
It was brutal, absolutely brutal. And also, like, it was meant to be a dissolvable stitch, so that was obviously never meant to happen. And when I did go to the doctor's face was like, what the fuck? Like, they were all baffled, because I went to several doctors, and they were just like, we've never had this before. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's great and all, but can you get this out of my dick?
So can you, like, feel it in there, or knocking about?
Occasionally, yeah.
Oh, you can.
Like, genuinely, yeah. Yeah, I can, yeah. But it's not, like, overly uncomfortable or anything, but yeah, I could sometimes feel it, like, it can move. It's pretty weird.
On really cold days during the winter, does it like poke it a bit out again?
No, not really. It's just like random. I don't know.
It's like a men's health interview.
This gamers want sexual health advice. Don't chop it.
We are a gaming podcast. Remember, 26 minutes into this, and the majority has been penis related.
I haven't spoken about games at all.
Also, please tell me all of you saw Jordy's Discord photo that popped up halfway through that story.
No.
Oh my god. Oh,
calling on me.
I saw in the corner of my eye Duncan turn away from the camera, and I was like, something's happened. If I look at my monitor.
We really need to make this server private, don't we?
It's the ears. Oh,
I'm actually kind of offended. In other words, I'll be getting on that train.
Yeah, we get
Other words,
locking yourself in that toilet,
bringing up,
waste his time.
bringing up his employer.
Oh.
I love how he's just like, you're welcome, guys. It's like, done you a favour.
Cheers, in. Thanks, Jordy. Well, I was going to do any choices. Oh, close back.
Sorry, I realised that what the dog was crying for is because you left a packet of treats on top of the TV unit. That's what he's been scrabbling for fucking days.
That makes sense.
Unbelievable.
Rookie
I've
mistake.
been up there since Christmas.
Sorry, what did I miss?
So I was going to move on to an actual gaming segment. But this, I haven't played a fucking thing for like 3 weeks now, apart from Disco Elysium, and I've already spoken about it. So this week, instead of Duncan Bush's indie choices, we're going to do ZoKinndie choices. You great, mates. Did you get it?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I fucking love a pun.
Zoe, would you like me to do the traditional intro?
I will cry myself to sleep if you don't.
Well, I don't know. Paul, I'd feel about that because you're the one that's got to deal with it. So, hi guys. This week for ZoKinndie choices, we've got ZoKids from Thistledew Gaming, who's going to talk about a lovely little game called Contrast. Zoe, how is it? You great mate.
Yeah, thank you, Duncan. Great mate. This is a game that I actually played. This is the first game I ever finished. It's an indie game by, Paul, help me out here, who's the developer?
Compulsion Games.
Thank you. By Compulsion Games, and it's set in the 1920s, and it follows this wee girl who, her mum is like a singer in these like jazz bars, and she has to go out on like shifts, but her dad is kind of away. So you follow the story of this wee girl. You're her best friend who you only appear in shadows. So it kind of looks at the world through a different perspective of like you have to fix lighting so that you can get shadows that you can then shift into the shadow. You're not a physical person and you jump on the shadows. I don't know how to explain it really properly because I think you really have to play it to get the feel for it. But there should be some footage of it that we took. And if you haven't played it, then I really advise you do. But it's a really cute wee game. It's short enough that you can kind of play it through all at once. And if you pay attention to what is being told to you in the cues of what you're meant to do, then it's a really good time. Definitely recommend it. It's a lovely wee game.
So I think weren't they bought by Microsoft? Weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
Compulsion.
because they went on to make We Happy Few. Is that Compulsion?
Oh,
correct.
yes, yeah. Because I,
I
think
think
the
that's
art style looks quite similar, doesn't it? So happy for you.
Well, it's interesting because I've always
yeah.
wanted to play We Happy Few, and I've downloaded it like 15 times, but every time I've gone to play it, I've been like, I'm still too shy at gaming for this yet. I should probably give it another go now. I think it might be on a level where I can manage it.
I think it was quite rough when it came out, but I imagine it's much better now.
Yeah, it released as game preview, so it was like kind of didn't have all the content at release. But yeah, it has a very similar art style, and the thing I like about Contrast, and I actually haven't played it, I just watched Zoe play it
Twice
because I just really enjoy watching her play it, and it's the way the shadows like create a 2D platformer game, but then when you're not in the shadows, you're like in this 3D platformer. It's cool. I love it.
Did you
Nice.
play it on Xbox or is it on PC? Oh right,
I think
I didn't
it's on
realize
PC
it was on
as
Xbox.
well. I think it is on PC as well because I had to look at a walkthrough for part of it last night when I was playing it because it got to the point where I was like, I've fallen through the same trap about 700 times.
Yeah, it came out before Microsoft acquired Compulsion Games, so it was before We Happy Few. I think it might have been like their first kind of debut game. I might be wrong there.
I think
So you
it
might
was
want to fact check that,
quite a
but-
while ago. I remember it came out. I don't know if I bought it or if it was part of the like monthly free games for PS Plus. But when the PS4 first came out, I'm pretty sure I remember playing it then. If it is the game I'm thinking of, it sounds very
It was
familiar.
released in 2013, so it likely is the same one. It was released in 2013, and it was released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and some other thing that I don't know how to say, apparently.
Ouya?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Nvidia?
go on a
That's
win.
a throwback, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
Nvidia.
Nvidia Shield.
Yeah. I don't know her.
Not quite
what
as
would
bad
you-
as Ouya.
What would you give it on the dick bottom? Well, how far up the arm would it go?
So
Is
am
it
I
a
right in saying
wrist?
the further up the arm it is, then the more successful I think the gameplay is?
Yeah,
that
yeah. The
correct?
better
how
is,
much you
the
love
more
it.
you jam it in.
How?
And you got to really show it as well, right towards the
what
camera.
about the game, Shaun?
What's that from?
Are you going? Oh Jesus!
I think, yeah, I'd say up to the elbow, high enough that you can get Phil Spencer's wallet so you can buy it. It's only about £8. Go wild.
Bloody hell! So you'd fist Phil Spencer for it? I mean, I would. Thanks.
Free Game
Thanks,
Pass for
Zoe.
life.
Free Game Pass for life.
Worth it.
Would you? I'll do that. I'll let him fist me for free Game Pass for life. To be honest. Let him do it.
But no,
Let him do
it's a cracking new game. I think, yeah, I think it would suit anybody. Because when I first played it, I had like super limited ability on Xbox. Like I had to look at the controller to see what buttons did what. And I still managed to play it through. It took me a little longer than it did last night, but like it's a fantastic game. So even if you're like a beginner, I think it's a cracking wee game.
I like that it's the game that brought you into gaming as well.
First game I ever finished.
Yeah. I'll check it
Wanted
out.
to make
That's
it
really
about
cool. So, Shaun, you've been playing
Yes.
something, haven't you?
Yeah. But this is earlier as well than normal. Yeah, I've been playing Backbone, which I done in two sittings, I think. So it was basically, I had my booster jab thing on Thursday just gone. So I was like, I know it's probably going to be hitting me on the Friday, so I want a nice like shortish sort of, I don't have to have any reactions or like proper concentrate sort of game to play on the Friday. And Backbone is supposed to be a like noir detective narrative driven game. And I was like, that sounds quite nice to play on a day where you can't move basically. I probably would have had more fun shoulder barging all of the doors in my house with my jabbed arm. So the prologue, which I believe from what I've like read up, was also the demo before it actually came out because it was a Kickstarter game, and the prologue is amazing. Like it is proper sort of mysterious. There's been there's someone you're following, and you have to sort of sneak around, solve these puzzles, and find out what's happened to him. After that, both gameplay and story-wise, it just goes to shit. But I want to say as well, is anyone playing it and not finished it yet, or is in like planning to play it? Because I want to kind of spoil the story to show how bad it gets.
I was going to, but now you said that, I'm not going to bother. So thanks.
Okay.
It's not on my list.
Sorry.
I have such a backlog and it is not even on my radar, so fire on. By the time
Cool.
I even wanted to play it, I'd probably forget anyway.
So spoiler alert.
Fair enough. So so spoiler alert. Gameplay. I'll start with gameplay. Is the prologue. So it's side scrolling, like pixel art sort of thing. So there's different areas, and you just move side to side, talk to people, sort of puzzles. The prologue, you have to sneak around in this little building to get into a club and find out what's happened to this guy that you're supposed to be finding for his wife, I believe, who thinks she thinks he's having an affair. So you've got to sort of stalk him and find him. And you sort of ask. I think the way I got into the club was I talked to this stranger on the street who knew the bouncer. And then apparently there's also this passcode you can solve as well to get in through the back door. So there's multiple like routes in that to get through the game. After the prologue, there isn't a single puzzle that I came across. And it was literally just walking side to side along these different streets, talking to people, and then it would just be like, oh, talk to him. So you talk to him, and you'd be like, oh, this happened. Talk to him. So you talk, and it was just completely linear. Like, the prologue is so different to the rest of the game. It's really strange, not as if they ran out of time, but like it sort of feels like they just couldn't. They sort of lost passion for the game, if that makes sense. Like they've done the prologue, and then the further into development, they're like, oh, I just can't be asked with this.
When you were describing the prologue there, I was like thinking to myself, that sounds really interesting.
It is
having a conversation simulator just sounds tedious.
Yeah, the prologue is. I'd recommend playing the prologue, but don't go any further than prologue. So the prologue is proper like detective. So there's one bit where there's I think it's a kitchen, or it's a kitchen of the club, and you've got to sneak behind the counters and like distract the chef so he walks off, and then you like quickly run past in the open and that. And nothing like that happens after the prologue. It's all just walking straight forward. There's no sneaking, no puzzle solving, no cracking codes or anything. It's literally as linear. It basically becomes, what do they call them? Interactive novels. So where you basically just talk to people.
That's what Disco Elysium is quite like, but I guess it's in like the strength of the writing. Because there's not loads of like point and clicky stuff like, oh, you need to combine this kettle with this mug or whatever, I don't know. But because the writing's so compelling, it's really enjoyable just knocking about and just talking to people. So yeah, it's weird that they're kind of the same style of game, but one's excellent and one's a bit shit.
Yeah, there was. I mean, you don't have to, for the puzzles that are in the prologue, you don't have to go too far away from where the puzzle is to collect stuff to solve it, sort of thing. So it's all quite self-contained, each puzzle. Kind of like Professor Layton, where you wander around. Once you get to a puzzle, it is solve this puzzle, and then you solve it and you bugger off and do something else, sort of thing. There's no, I need to do this, so I got to backtrack to get that, and etc. One of the puzzles was finding a 4-digit code for a door to unlock, and there was different bits. There was like a map and then a photo of someone, and you had to get these other sheets of paper that had little holes in them, and if you'd laid them over the correct pieces, there'd be a little number that was shown through the holes, and that was your like 4-digit code. So it was all self-contained puzzles. And it's also, you have an inventory, but you don't need it. I forgot I had an inventory until the final chapter of the game, where I paused the game and was like, there's an inventory. Story-wise, I don't know how to explain this.
I think you're doing a good enough job. It just sounds a bit shit.
It's
like
the story.
Forgot to add content.
Well, see, the gameplay. Yeah, gameplay-wise though, if it went from the prologue to just being an interactive novel, if the story was still good, I would have still enjoyed it, sort of thing, because it's a good story. But it just goes so shit. Okay, so it starts off, prologue. This woman hires you to basically use your detective skills to find out if her husband is cheating or not. And you find out he's in this nightclub. You break into the club. You sneak into the basement, I believe it is, and you find his corpse, and it's being like mutilated and chopped up. So that's really good, like hook. Like there's random people. There's this big, like powerful club owner who's killing people and like chopping them up. You you wake up the next day, and this fox woman called, I believe she's called Ellen, if I remember right, or Eileen, finds you, and she's looking into like all this, the power of people that control the city and stuff like that. The wife phones you, of the guy who you literally saw chopped up the night before, and you can't tell her what happened because you don't know what to say to her, and you say you'll phone her back. Never hear from that person again. Like that's just left to the wayside. And then you go to find out why they're being chopped up. You find this like high up family basically eating them, so it's like cannibalism. And then that never gets said about again, because the next day you find out that the like Ministry of Science, or whatever it is working on something called Project Artifact, which has nothing to do with these people being eaten and like chopped up.
So you get sidetracked to deal with that.
It's basically it's like something will happen and it just won't explain it. It'll just forget about it, and then something else happen. But you get to this, at this point, it's all still kind of like detective-y and noir style. But you get to the science lab where Project Artifact is, and it's basically this like alien, like blobby creature thing that you touch, and it attaches itself to your body, so you now have this massive like tumor growth coming out of your back. Oh god, fucking knock my headphones flying. massive tumor growth coming out of your back, and it's explained that it's this like DNA thing, so it recodes and combines people's DNA, sort of thing. And then you wake up in a homeless camp. You talk to the homeless people for like 10 minutes, and then you bugger off. You get caught by the person that runs the nightclub back from the start of the game. They do a few tests on you. You then just escape, and you escape this city, which is surrounded by a big wall. And basically, you get through the wall, and you start walking along, and there's like these post-apocalyptic skyscrapers and that you're going past. So it's basically supposed to be that is what it's set in the future, sort of thing. It's supposed to be this big like reveal that you're in the future, and all these skyscrapers are like our current cities and towns, and that, and the world got destroyed. And because all the characters are like animals, so I don't know what the actual word is, where it's like animal humans. And the big reveal is supposed to be that this artifact thing like transformed humans into animals, and you just fall down and die. and that's it. Credits roll.
It sounds like
What
this
the
isn't
fuck
actually
is
a game.
that?
It sounds like you've played a game, but you've had some sort of Animal Crossing vaccine fever dream.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up after like dreaming this game and looked around, and I had like a detective book, and then The Martian, and then Alien, like Isolation next to me. Like, oh, I just combined all
Did your
three in my head.
booster give you a fever?
This game gave me a
Did this
fever from how
actually
much I was
happen?
angry from it. It was so shit. But the
It
prologue's
almost
amazing.
sounds like a different dev team.
Like, your
took
explanation
over.
of the game makes me actually want to play the game more than not want to play it, because I'm like, nah, this shit can't be right.
If
Like,
if you if you want to put yourself through it, it is only like 4 hours long. But it's just so weird. It starts
Bizarre.
so promising, and then as
I
soon as the
think I
prologue
remember
finishes,
seeing
you're
it.
like, what?
I think I remember seeing it at E3, and I was quite interested. What is the main character? What animal is he?
He is a raccoon.
Is he like
Called
wearing like a
Howard?
suit?
Sort of,
making
yeah.
that
No,
up in my
like
head?
Got
proper
like a duster
noir
coat,
detective
isn't
suit.
he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think I do remember seeing this, yeah.
I'm installing it right now.
But it's so
How
weird. But
random.
there's so many like themes in the story as well that I don't know if this is the developers trying to be like trying to raise a point or be like self-aware or whatever. But so the setup of the city is that the apes run everything. Like they're untouchable. They run everything, and like certain species of animals are always going to be like bums who won't get anywhere in life, or like stereotyped against. But it doesn't do anything with that. Like there's no big rise up against the apes or like overhauling anything, or no like ideas of how to change this system. And then there's also a bit at the end, just before you just collapse down dead, where the owner of the club is talking to the woman who found you at the end of the prologue. Oh, who also you don't see for half the game. She fucks off at some point, and then that's the next time you see her for like one last cutscene with her. And the owner of the nightclub explains her reasons, because for the reason that women in the city are treated worse than men, but like it's just what is a throwaway line. Like nothing is like said about that before, and nothing's said about after of how to solve it or like do anything with it. It's just a throwaway like yeah, it's just a throwaway lines that they use for like actual topics that could be explored
sounds like
and
it's
discussed.
It's just ticking a box. Well,
Yeah,
we got that theme in there. What's the next one?
Yeah,
You might say, Shaun, it's got no backbone.
I would definitely say that. Definitely, it's a pass.
I like that.
Very good,
100% pass. Piece of shit. But the prologue's good. So play the prologue, and then
How
play
long's the
something else.
prologue? What, 20 minutes?
It's probably between 30, 45 minutes. I'm trying to think. If there's 6 chapters overall, 5 or 6 chapters overall, and it takes about 4 hours to complete. So it's about 30, 45. I'd say.
I might actually give the prologue a shot. Actually, I'll just watch Zoe play it.
Yeah, I just installed it, so
Since we did it.
I'll report back.
Oh,
Right then.
good luck.
Paul, you've been playing Go. Yeah. Playing it?
Yeah, so I've been playing
Gorogoa.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll just give Harry a ring. I'll try to
Gorogoa.
pronounce it.
It's not Gora Gora, like Bora
Go-
Bora.
Gorogoa.
Let's see what Google
Gorogoa.
says.
It's an
Gorogoa.
O. It's Goro.
How to
Gorogoa.
pronounce.
Get back to yourself.
Gorogoa.
Get on your own side.
Well, I'm sure Harry will correct us in about 3 to 6 months' time. So,
Yeah, no, he will be in the live chat for this episode, correcting us.
Yeah. How is it?
Oh. What were you saying?
I said, how is it?
Oh, yeah. So it's
What was
Gorogoa, or however it's pronounced.
my mic?
What was that? I was on a pronunciation website.
Gorogoa.
Oh, he's...
That's
Gorogoa.
not like automatic. That's someone's genuinely recorded them saying this and put it on the website, right? Like this isn't a robot.
Gorogoa. So wait, is the A at the end just supposed to put like an accent on the O, or is it supposed to be like a
No, I
ah
think-
at the end?
I think it's Gorogoa.
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 What are you hatting at?
So he's been telling me I've been saying it wrong.
You were saying it wrong, right? Up until Shaun told you how to say it.
Well, Gorogoa.
It's not Gora anything, it's Goro!
Oh, Gorogoa.
So,
Gorogoa.
Anyway.
go on.
So, Gorogoa. Gorogoa?
Go
Oh,
on.
geez, this is a train wreck. This game.
We're
No,
really on a
it's-
cup of tea now.
It's a game that I downloaded just with no expectation, and I seen it in Game Pass. It just got added. I watched the wee video and I was like, I want to check out what this is like. So it's a completely hand-drawn kind of puzzle game. It's made by a guy called Jason Roberts. The mechanic of the game is like one of those old sliding puzzles that you used to get in like magazines. You know, they were like little squares and you just like slide them so then you get the picture.
Mm.
So it was very much like that, but with like a significant depth to it and like extra dimension. So the best way I can explain it is imagine having a comic book where you configure where everything goes and you progress the story by delving further into the scenes that you started with. So it kind of starts off that you're following like this young boy's life and it's kind of going through these dimensions using the main sliding mechanic. And it tells this like beautiful visual story. You see how the boy's life progresses, some of the hardships he faces, like throughout his whole life, and you see the world change around him. So it goes from like a country that's torn by war to the country getting rebuilt. It goes from him being a young child to being an old man, and there's loads of stuff in between that. But I don't want to spoil it. But there's no kind of verbal narrative. There's no text kind of explaining what's going on. You're just very much being told the story through the artwork, and it's stunning. And the way that they tell it, and just like the way the characters are drawn and stuff, it just kind of pushes that emotion and stuff. In the game, you can kind of get a grasp of what's going on just from these images. So it's not a long game. It took me, I think, on the first time I played it, about an hour. But there's actually an achievement for completing it in 30 minutes. So you can actually complete it really, really quickly. Which for me made the concept of replaying it way more appealing than most other games, because I think I've completed it like maybe 3, maybe 4 times now. I actually started playing it again last night. Like, it's not going to be like a main game that you're going to play, but it's like very much like the Artful Escape. It's like a journey worth experiencing, like a story worth experiencing. That's not going to be a really kind of complicated game where you're going to have to figure out like a bunch of controls. It is very much, if you can use a cursor and click and drag, that's basically it. It is very much just point and click.
So
But
is
it's
there
fantastic.
any like dialogue or anything, or is it literally just told through the
No,
art?
so it's completely told through the story, so like through the images. But the way it works is you've got this young boy and you've got to lead him through the scenes. So you've got to examine the scenes and try and figure out how to get him into the next image, or how to like progress him through it. And that can be done like through multiple different ways. So there's like doors that he'll go into like a cupboard at the start, because this is the very beginning, and he stops in the cupboard. So what you've got to do is you kind of click and drag that scene down, and it takes the cupboard away, but he's still standing in a doorway in a different background. And then he walks out of that, and you've got to place another door in front of him for him to go through that, and it leads him into the next scene. So if you think of it like a comic broken up into 4 scenes, because it's like a grid of 2 by 2, you got to kind of lead them through it and move the images in the right place so they can interlink. It can make like a bigger image. Sometimes the images don't even relate in the slightest, and you've got to find little features within them that kind of matches up. There's a really cool bit that's like, I think it's like a mermaid and there's a seahorse, but you've got to kind of like click on it and it zooms in on the seahorse, and you've got the top half of the seahorse, and then you click on the mermaid, it's got the bottom half of the mermaid, and you connect them, and that completes the image for how it carries on. It's really interesting. It's very unique, and the fact that it's all hand drawn and it's telling this really unique story. Yeah, it's completely hand drawn. So the guy Jason Roberts who made it, he drew it all himself, and it was a concept for him. I read up on it a little bit. I did a wee bit of research before coming on, and he did like comics and stuff. Like he did illustrations for comics and things, and then he decided to make a game out of it. So it's an awesome experience. It's a 100% a play. Like, I think everybody should play it because it's so short and it's just so relaxing. Like, I at the moment have been kind of struggling to sleep. So one thing I'm trying not to do is play like really fast-paced shooter kind of racing or whatever games before I come off and chill out before I go to bed. So I've been just firing this game up pretty much every night since I found it, and just replaying it because it's just so chill. And I quite like to see how quick I can complete the puzzles. And like, there's little bits that I notice that I didn't notice before, and it's so detailed. It's fantastic.
It sounds a lot like Unpacking, where the story is just told through the environment and the art. So thanks for that. I'll give it a go. Would you say people should Gorogoa and have a go on it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not proud of that one at all. So.
Oh, I think you should be. I think that was top notch. I'm impressed with that.
Also,
a bit better.
Do the solutions to the puzzles like is it one of those ones where like it's the same thought process to solve it, but they tweak the actual answer at all?
Or is it literally just so they change it a little bit. So at first they kind of keep this kind of consistency where you're like, all right, okay, I get what I'm doing here. And the other thing that's quite nice as well, if you just press like A, for example, on Xbox, and click somewhere on the screen, like in that scene, so in that square, it'll kind of highlight, it'll do like this kind of like almost like radar pulse, where you can actually select. So it will show you where you can select. You can turn it off if you'd rather not have it. But I used it because it just made it a little bit easier, and I didn't want to kind of be spamming A across the image, just hoping to get something. But yeah, I can't even remember what the original question was now.
So like
the
when
puzzles,
when you replay it, is it going to be so like you'll be like, oh, that's the answer for this, I have to do that, then that, or is it sort of I know how to work this one out, but it's like tweaked sort of thing?
No, so it doesn't change throughout. You will, like, if you remember how to do it, but there's definitely puzzles in there that'll leave you scratching your head, and you'll spend more time on certain ones than others, or at least I did. And I was like, but what are you here? Because there is like so many dimensions to the images, because you start off with like a couple scenes, and then you expand them by dragging the layers out. So if you imagine it like layers on a Photoshop image, you're basically pulling layers out to expose layers underneath, and then you're connecting them.
Okay.
And then sometimes you'll get to a point where they're all on one, and then you'll pull that one apart, and you'll be like, I've got another like 4 layers here, and I've got to figure out how these connect. And there's like specific order to it. So in some ways you can, like near the end, I don't want to spoil anything, but near the end, there's like some parts where you can do it in a different order, but it'll still have the same process for that specific thing. But other parts, particularly at the start, you have to do it in the right order to progress the story. It's really quite unique. It's an interesting experience, and it's just super chill. Like, it's just one of those games you could sit back and just relax and just kind of, I don't know, just chill. Like, there's no kind of stress to it at all. I didn't
Not
find myself
even-
getting annoyed at the puzzles, and even when I was getting stuck, you just kind of try different combinations, and you eventually get it. But yeah, brilliant game.
Cool.
I'm
Thanks,
gonna have
Paul.
to give it a go.
So, Shaun, do you ever get
Yep.
any messages on Xbox Live to get people to, talk about your boobs or anything like that?
Only Harry. I actually
about
think he
you?
has as well.
Does anyone ever rummage in your knickers, Paul, on Xbox?
No, get a wee bit of like salty abuse now and again, but no.
But nothing lewd.
No, absolutely not. No, I don't get anything like that.
No. Okay. Only reason I ask is because obviously we've never really shied away from talking about topics that are I think probably most shows would pretty shy away from, but we don't really have any issue in calling out horrid practices and things that go on. So Zoe, obviously, it's something you're mega passionate about, in calling out the bullshit that women and kind of female people have to put up with playing games. So I'll pass it over to you because I know you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Praise it.
Yeah, thanks. I don't want to pretend for a second that girls are the only people that get abuse through messages on Xbox. I understand that, like, I've seen some of the messages that Paul's got if he plays better than someone, and they're abusive, but they're not personally offensive because of who he is as a person. They're just, people are pissed off because he's better than him, like they are at their favorite game. So I'm fairly new to gaming, as I've said a bunch, and I think that for young girls who are playing, sort of like 13, 14-year-olds who might be like starting to dip their toe into like online gaming, it can be really daunting. And I'm now at the grand old age of almost 30, and I'm not so bothered by petulant little incels who are sitting in their mummy's basement playing Xbox, wanking themselves off over an avatar of a girl in Fortnite. I don't give a fuck what they think of me, quite frankly. But I think for these young people who are starting to come on and starting to play, and this is maybe their first experience of coming on and playing, it can be really off-putting when you get abuse. And the abuse comes in shades of, I mean, I don't even know where to start with it because it's so diverse. So the first sort of comments I started getting, and to put in perspective, my avatar for Xbox is a cartoon. It's like me, but cartoonified, and I don't have any facial features. I have eyebrows, and that is it. And I've had comments now saying, "You're sexy," and I'm like, "I'm a cartoon. You need to sit the fuck down and shut up." And they'll respond like, "Join my party," and I'm like, "No, thanks. I'm good. Like, do you have anything constructive you want to say to me?" No. And then when I tell them that I'm not interested in talking to them, they're like, "Well, you're probably a fat slag anyway." That is not an acceptable thing to say to anyone online anywhere. Like, I've got receipts, I've taken screenshots of multiple messages that I've had, I've put them on my Twitter before, and I'll probably share them again when we share, like, when this podcast goes live and we share this podcast, and I'll say, like, for anyone who's interested, like, these are the sort of comments I'm talking about. But when you're asking, Shaun and Paul as well about what they've experienced, because Paul plays online with me, I have seen some of the messages that he's got as a result. So there's a particular day where Paul had I got a message saying, "I'm better than your boyfriend," and I was like, at what? You need to be more specific there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What, are you going to dump Paul and run to him?
Totally.
Because he's so good.
Like, sorry, Paul, but I found
Yeah.
a younger, prettier model at 13 years old on my way. And
Quick scope lights from MLG.
it's fucking ridiculous. Like, that you think you can pick up a girl by slagging off her boyfriend on an X. Like, I don't understand the psychology behind it. I just don't get it. But I'm better than your boyfriend, and I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Please leave me alone. And then because I've not responded, and Paul has a similar avatar to mine where he's done the same thing with his face, and it's kind of like our little thistle-do thing. They've then targeted Paul and been like, "Is that your girlfriend? Is that your wife?" And they've been suggestive about our relationship and what they think happens between us, which again, I just don't get. But anyway, I'm totally getting sidetracked and going too deep into what they're saying. But the point is that these little boys are damaging, they're dangerous to mental health of girl gamers everywhere. And I hate using the term girl gamers because we're just fucking gamers. We are just gamers. We're no different to anybody else who sits behind a screen and holds a controller, and the only reason you know that I'm a girl is because of my picture. Like, or if I'm on game chat and you can hear me talking. That's not an excuse for giving me abuse. I'm not going to be interested in you in an intimate or sexual way because you've slagged off my boyfriend or you've told me that the cartoon of my face is hot. Fuck off. I'm not going to be interested in you if you are shouting abuse at me or telling me I suck at something. But the danger of it is that I've also been in games before where I've been struggling with something. Paul's not been about to be like, oh, this is what you do. And so someone in the game has sent me a message and been like, I've just looked at your profile. You've got like a low gamer score. Are you new to the game? Do you want some help? And I'm like, yeah, great. And he's like, great, come and join party. So I'll join their party. And there was a point where Paul was working and we were in the second lockdown and I wasn't working and I was playing Sea of Thieves and the game was just glitching out. And this really lovely Greek guy was typing to me and then added me as a friend, added me to party and talked me through what I was doing. And I had no idea what I was doing. And it's not even his first language. And he still made the effort to help me out. And he stayed online with me for like 4 hours. And when I was getting attacked by some brig and I was in a sloop on my own, he was like, right, look at your map, tell me like what your coordinates are, I'll come and find you. So he just like sailed in and started cannonballing these pricks and taking their sails down and shit. And I was like, woohoo, let's get out of here. And he took down their ship. I kind of helped a little bit, but I wasn't great. Took down their ship. When all of their loot came up, he jumped on my ship, he helped me grapple it all, he turned my ship to the correct angle to grapple it, he left his ship and he sailed with me back to the outpost so that he could cash in with me on my stuff. And so I think like if someone's trying to invite me to party or if they're sending me messages, they might actually have something constructive to say. They might actually be a good person here who's like trying to help me out. So then when someone invites me to party, I'm like, okay, I'll see what their crack is. I'll see what they've got to say. And I'll go. And then they're like some shitty fucking child just talking about how I'm shit, I should make them a sandwich. I actually feel sorry for these boys because they're just like kids and they're going to have such a hard time if they think that that's how you speak to women. But ultimately, I hold their parents responsible because where are they learning this language and where are they learning this attitude to talk to girls?
Oh, it's funny you mentioned about, oh, go and make me a sandwich, because there was that thing that came up not long ago with the, I don't know her name, but she was on Halo, and there was just these two American twats, not the fact that Americans got nothing to do with it, but their thing was like, you fucking suck, go back to the kitchen. It's like,
I
well,
know exactly
like,
what you're talking about. Her tag is Grenade Queen, and she
yeah,
has now actually stopped streaming on Twitch because of the abuse she
it's
gets.
unbelievable. But I like,
Yeah,
but like, I don't know what's getting done about it. I mean, I mean, I've never had anything like that, obviously, but the only things I've had are when I played like Smite and I was just getting abuse, like you've picked the wrong character, you fucking rat, and that's just kind of the extent it is. But it's like, to me, that's just comes with the territory of just playing competitive games. But then, if I had a little girl, for example, I'd be very worried about buying her an Xbox. I mean, I'd love it if my imaginary daughter in 13 years' time had like played games, but I'd be really concerned about letting her loose online because I just wouldn't want her to hear that fucking shit.
The difficulty is as well is that Zoe got to a point where she even considered using a male avatar to stop being
and
targeted.
changing my gamer tag because because
That's
if they
crazy.
search that, they can find my Twitter, they can find my Instagram, and
Yeah, well, that actually happened one
Yeah.
time. So they actually found Zoe's Instagram, her personal Instagram, and started targeting her on that as well.
What
So
the hell?
it's not even the fact that they're just doing it on Xbox, but they're also then looking at her username and then going, oh, that's your Instagram name as well. I'm going to find you. And the person actually sent a screenshot. Now, this came across really threatening.
Yeah.
Off Zoe's Instagram, which is private, to her on Xbox, being like, I found you and stuff like this.
And he was like, my profile, because my Instagram profile is private, you can only see like my picture and my bio. And my picture is of me and Evie, who you've previously met. And he was like, I like your dog. And I was like, the fuck? Like, that's just a creepy thing to say. But in my bio, I've stated that I'm a feminist, which is a very relevant point in this conversation. And he's like, don't like the feminist bit. And I was like, I don't know why you think your opinion is fucking even warranted here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck what you think of my bio on Instagram. Like, it's ridiculous. But, like, tying into that as well, even on game chat on games, like, we were playing Rec Room for a little bit, just being fannies, like, fannying about.
We just want to listen to the shite that people said.
Just fannying about. And we were in this, like, open area. It's like a park, and you're just wandering about. And it was, like, us and Shaun, I think, was it?
Yeah.
And
Pardon me.
I ended up, like, under a tree somewhere and just I think I was listening to someone else, like, singing or playing guitar or something, because that's the thing about Rec Room. There's, like, actual creative people there just displaying their talents and singing to you or reading to you or whatever it is. So I was, like, over there talking to someone, and my avatar was, like, just a little basic blob person, but with long hair, and I don't even think they looked feminine. They're just a blob person with long hair.
I think you maybe had a skirt at most.
Again, that doesn't mean you're a girl.
But
anyone
Rec
can
Room
wear
is
whatever.
literally like a head that's completely disconnected from the body, almost like a me, and then like this triangle body, and then you don't even have arms, you just got floating hands.
Yeah.
Because it's a VR game, but you could also play it on Xbox without VR.
But this guy came over to me, and I use guy loosely because what I really mean is child. This child came over to me and started using game chat to talk to me, and he was like, "Are you a girl?" And I was like, yes. And I'm always really wary of saying that because I'm like, what difference does that make? Why are you actually asking me that? What does that change what you're going to say to me? And then he started asking me, and I feel like you should probably edit this out because it's just fucking shitty, revolting, disgusting behavior. But he's like, "Oh, can I suck on your big mummy milkers?" And I was like, do you think that that's an acceptable thing to say to somebody in an open world game, a stranger who you've never met? And he almost kind of like stopped and was like, and as soon, because I'm no fucking shy, I'm not gonna take your shite, I'm gonna actually call you out on it. So as soon as I started like responding in that way and started saying to him, like, do you think that that's all right? Like, would you speak to your mother like that? Would you like your sister to be spoken to like that? He was like, well, and I did eventually get him to apologize and get him to understand why that's not acceptable to just speak to random people that you do not know like that. And I was like, thanks for coming to my TED talk, pal. Like, cheers. That was a great response for you to have. But leading into that, sorry, I know I'm dominating right now. I'm just taking up all the time on the podcast, so I'm sorry. But leading into that, I think there's a window of e-girls which make this a far bigger issue than it ever needs to be when it's already an issue on its own. And I'm aware of several accounts who use Twitch to stream from hot tubs, half-naked hot tub gaming, and Twitter accounts which promote their OnlyFans account whilst talking about gaming. And I genuinely, as a feminist, I believe if you can make money out of exploiting creepy, crusty old men, go off, girl. Like, if you can make money out of that, fucking go for it, because there's going to be creepy, crusty old men anyway, so why not make some pennies out of it? Exploit them. I'm here for it. I think there is a place in the market for safe and legitimate sex work, and I think that OnlyFans is, in the middle of a pandemic, is a safe place for that. But my issue is when you use gaming as a tool to connect with men to promote your OnlyFans, because that then creates this idea that girls who game should be sexy, should be sexualized, should be posing with their controller in their underwear. And I think that it creates a larger issue that regular female gamers like myself, and I mean, if you've watched any of our videos, you'll notice that I'm not interested in being like, oh, I'm a little girl, I'm so cute and pretty. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I am who I am, and that's it. And I think that then this issue of like, if you want to get naked on a forum, go for it, but please don't use gaming forums for it, because you make a larger issue for girls who just want to play games, and guys then think that because you've done that, and I don't mean, I'm hashtag not all men, I get that as well, like I'm not suggesting that it's every guy who games, because I know that you three particularly, plus everyone else who I talk to on the daily, is disgusted by that behavior, so I'm not suggesting that it's everybody. But there's a group of men, incels, if you will, who think then that all girls who game should be sexy, should be pretty, should be here for the male gaze, and should be entertaining you instead of just enjoying the game.
I was talking to George about it on the weekend, like not long after I asked you to come on and talk about it, about the particular account that we all take the piss out of, but are also a bit like it's a bit ridiculous. It like it undermines, girl game, like I say, girl gamers, but who just make really good content. So like you guys, your Gaming 600 is my favorite thing on the internet. Like your last video, I've watched it 3 times because it's so funny. But then
Thank you.
but what these accounts, what these people do, and like you say, in particular, posing with an Xbox controller. Oh, I just happen to be gaming whilst I'm sat in some negligee. Like you say, it trains kids basically to expect that out of women who game, because especially if, like, Twitter's a wasteland anyway, and it's so easy to find that. I mean, I've kind of muted so many people because it's just like you say, kind of crusty old men who pay for it. But the amount of kind of just like old married men who like that stuff as well, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you happy? You married, you
But I
silly
think
cunt.
it's disrespectful to their partner as well. Like, if I find
Exactly.
out in 30 years' time, Paul, that you're on Twitter following these 20-something girls who are just trying to, like, play games, but because there's someone else who's got an OnlyFans account that are flashing their chebs, and, like, if you want to flash your chebs on OnlyFans, like, that's fine. I get it. But it's, yeah, I'd be horrified.
What do you think can be done? Obviously, there's kind of two separate issues, but in terms of kind of like the messages, because it's obviously like an internet wide issue. So obviously, dick pics flying around all over the place, like unsolicited and things like that. I mean, I'm very much in favour of getting rid of the anonymity of online, like, social accounts. Like I'd have no issue having to kind of sign up for Twitter with my address, for example. So if there is something like that, you can very easily report it, and stamp it out that way, just to remove the anonymity, because it's very easy with someone just to message someone and be like, oh, shows your tits, but then they don't know who you are and they'll never know. But I might be in a minority, but I'm in favour of reducing that, the safe space for cunts, basically.
just holding them
I
accountable for
think.
what they say and do. Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you've got nothing to hide, then why are you afraid to verify who you are, and confirm that you are the person that you say you are? But I think in terms of, like, what can be done to help, I'm actually gonna shit on Xbox a little bit here and say that they need to be doing more. I can't tell you how many times I have reported and how many times I've tweeted Xbox to say, like, with screenshots, and said, like, is this acceptable on your platform? And they just fucking patch you off. They're not interested. As long as you're spending their money on Game Pass and on individual games and on your online account, like, why do they care? Like, they don't do anything. And I would love, actually, to hear a response from somebody who has reported something to Xbox and had the correct response from Xbox to say, right, we've banned that person. But if that's the case, if they're banning them, like, I've had no feedback on that. So all it suggests to me is that when I report these things, Xbox thinks it's acceptable and they don't do anything about it.
I think that's a massive loss from the 360 days. I don't know if you remember this, but you used to be able to rate people that you played with, and you could score them, like, out of 5 or whatever. But if you got down to 1 star, it would limit your communications. And I think that system, although was probably abused by people just targeting people to be a dick, could potentially work.
But that's why I think there needs to be a verification of that. If it was used to target folk and just be like, well, I didn't like how they played, so I'm going to say that they were abusive to me, then there needs to be some sort of, like, check up on that and verification. And just, like, in light of the whole, like, Activision Blizzard bullshit, we need developers, we need content creators, and we need Xbox to stand the fuck up and say, this is not okay, this isn't acceptable, and we're going to make a stand against it. Because honestly, I'm sick to the fucking back teeth of being told I suck because I have a vagina, or that my tits look good when they cannot fucking see me.
And you're just trying to play a game. You're just trying to enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
It's fucking mental.
I'm just trying to play a fucking game. It's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. But I think as well, like when you're saying about the days of 360 and how you could rate folk, but nowadays if you get banned for saying shit on chat, or you get banned for like however many minutes on a game for too many team kills or something, why is that looked at more and put in place? Like, if you can ban people, and we can see how easy that is for you to do that, knowing how many times you've made a mistake as well in banning folk because it's been an accident, people are still getting banned, why aren't you making more of an effort to protect the people who are paying your fucking wages?
Yeah, and I think like an example of that on Xbox chat is one time I was playing, I think it was Rainbow Six Siege, and some guy just started messaging me, but he wasn't writing anything necessarily explicit. So he wasn't using any swears or anything like that, but he was purposely trolling me and spamming me with messages. And at that time, I didn't really have much patience, and I didn't really think about it, and I just responded to him just saying prick. Now, he reported that message, and I got banned from Xbox Live for 48 hours. And I was like, what the hell? So if you say one swear word, like whatsoever, in a chat and somebody reports it, you get automatically banned. But when Zoe was getting this abuse, with somebody sending her Instagram profile, and I reported this person as well, and Zoe did, and he didn't get blocked. He didn't get his account suspended. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
it's baffling.
How is that like okay when I think it's fair to say me calling one person a prick compared to that is significantly less than what they were doing. Not that I'm saying me calling someone a prick is acceptable. I shouldn't have done it. But
I used to have a link to my work profile on my Instagram, and that, because of what I do, like that then tells folk where I live. And I had like a total fear moment where I was like, nah, I'm taking that off. So now there's no link between my private profile and my work profile to suggest that I'm the same person running these two profiles, because I thought if that person who sent me my profile then goes on and clicks that, finds out where I live, personal information about me, like what I do, things about like my home life, which I'll share to my work people, like followers of my work accounts, and that's just, it's not okay. Like there's a level of protection that Xbox should offer me, and maybe that's on me for having my work profile linked to my private profile, but there's a level of protection that Xbox should offer me to be able to report these people and have them look into it, rather than it being on me to block them.
I think if you've reported them, then 100%, and you did, and you've done it every time.
Yeah.
And it should just be a safe place to enjoy fucking video games, not have targeted harassment based on your sex.
When everyone plays, we all win, but not everyone. Like, don't let everyone play, because they're not responsible or respectful enough to play.
If you've got a dick, you'll have more fun. Is pretty much.
I mean, that's what life teaches you. So why would Xbox not just follow on with that?
Yeah, I think we might need to move on, because I'm aware that
we're
running out of time. No, I think this is something we should
say on the subject.
We should probably talk about after and actually come up with some kind of little campaign or something, just to raise awareness of it. I don't think it's something we should, not a one and done on this episode. I think it's something we should really hammer home.
Myself and Zoe came up with a little idea. I know I'm terrible for like conversation keys. I'm awful in real life. Never mind this. But Zoe and I had a little idea last night, and I'll let her share what that is. But we'll probably be working on this for This Will Do.
Yeah, because I'm such a big fan of activism and just trying to have an equal opportunity for everybody, be that within like politics or lifestyle or gaming. I quite like the idea we talked about last night about creating a segment of our This'll Do channel where I just talk about the struggle of being a female gamer, and have other people's accounts like shown to me so that I can, not like their Xbox accounts, but their accounts of this abuse shown to me so that I can voice that, and if anyone else wants to get involved and get on that, then I'd be interested in hearing their stories. Because honestly, I'm fucking sick of it. I am so sick of it, and it's tiring and exhausting, and it's making me wrinkly and grey haired, and I'm not up for it.
Well, obviously you'll have our support. Goes without saying.
Thank you.
But yeah, anything we can do to help with that, let us know. Us white men, us privileged white men who can help with that. So yeah, best move on because we'll run out of time. I don't know if you guys want to bugger off for a sec because we're going to do game in 60 seconds. Don't want to ruin you doing your ep.
Are you buggering off for last week's answers and then coming back for this week's clues, or?
Did we do last week's one, or are we still
No,
to
we
do
haven't.
that?
No, we were going to do.
You haven't done last week's
and
yet.
This week's clues as an episode next week.
So we'll bug it off now. Do you want us to come back? Will we just bug it off momentarily and then come back, or do you want us just gone?
Keep your phone on you, and then we'll just say come back.
All right.
Have you got Discord on your phone? One of you.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just say come back, please.
Okay.
Will we turn off our cameras just now, or?
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, it's up to you.
What do I have to do?
Don't mind. Come watch you.
Duncan just wants a little nosy nose. What guitars that you got?
Oh, he's gone. Oh, don't know anymore.
Rude.
Have they actually? God, Paul was alright. Oh,
Are they coming back?
They've see. I don't know if they've actually gone now, so they might be cheating. So next time,
you think they can hear us?
Yeah. See, they might just not actually left. They might turn the camera off. So then when they do their game in 600 seconds, depends how quickly they get it. I think we need to keep an eye out for that, Shaun, because I've got a feeling they're going to be.
So if we just say the wrong answers and then I'll put the right answer on the video.
Oh, well, I'd love to, but I can't think of a different thing for Harry's one. So
no.
So Harry's clue last week was I'm French and everything hurts, and that I don't know how. But that was Lake, and Harry's justification for that was le ache.
Yeah, so like L apostrophe ache because French always used like it. I think it's they got the lan le for words, but if the second word starts with another vowel, then you don't have the A or E in front of the L. So like instead of la apple, it's lapple.
All right.
Or however they pronounce apple.
I guess that kind of makes sense, but
yeah.
Like. So mine was I've got COVID. And that was alien isolation because I was isolating from COVID and an alien made me jump. Shaun, what was yours from last week?
Mine was this picture of Dante from Devil May Cry with his head on the body of Kane, Glenn Jacobs from WWE.
It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane. So do we get him back now? Do you reckon,
well, that was Dante's Inferno.
Sorry, yeah. Oh God, I've done a Harry. Is there in spirit?
Yeah. He always influences us one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted them
this week, please.
I kind of want them to
we'll see if they can guess it live.
Yeah.
Give them a bit of heads up. Right, let's get back.
I'll time them as well on this because they claim to be very quick.
I just told them to return.
just the word return. Return.
I bet they're.
I've just seen it as well. Return. I better get my picture ready. Actually, where is it? I've just seen it. It's so shit. Hello. Oh, you bet.
Did you actually?
Oh yeah. Hello.
You're back. Okay, I think
Sorry.
That settles my fears that you two were just listening with your camera turned off.
We have to feed the
dogs. So this week's clues Do you want to hear them? So you've got a little heads up on your next step.
Go
We'll try
on.
and guess them now. We'll give you a
Yeah.
minute each to guess
You
them.
got, yeah. So 30 seconds per clue. So a minute
Okay.
total.
Go for it. I'm opening the Game Pass
Right.
app though, for reference.
Yep, me too.
So
Ah.
this is Harry's clue. I just broke up with Gemma Collins.
Oh, Christ.
Oh,
You
I
sorry,
just
forgot.
broke up
outlandishly rude.
with Gemma Collins.
I forgot he gave us this clue.
I don't think you're gonna get it. It's very clever.
I know Harry's style.
I
And
just
he
broke
often
up
does
with
ones
Gemma
that have, like,
Collins.
just been added.
It is very
I'm
it is in Harry
claustrophobic,
style.
Darren. I just broke up with Gemma Collins.
Is it going to be something that I'm going to be embarrassed to say out loud if I get it?
No.
Wicked?
No,
Is
I
it
don't think
unfair?
so. I think mine's going to be a tricky one. Although it might be up your street, Paul.
I don't know.
No. Oh, George just put some dinner on. Oh, it smells delicious. Right. Do you give up momentarily on that one?
Nah, not yet.
It's there. It's a thinker. So I'll give you my one.
This minute has gone on very long.
Skateboarding in Germany.
I just say skateboarding in German.
That's not the answer.
I'll speak German.
You speak skateboarding.
Skateboard in Germany.
Skateboarding in Germany.
Okay.
Oh, how are we going to say the answers? I'll message you
Tell
them.
him to bugger off.
Yeah. I'll
Just
message you Shaun
pretend, but
my
just put the
answer.
beep in anyway.
Just beep over what Paul just said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I need to explain my answer. It's so shit.
I'll just send you the answer to my one
Okay.
on Facebook.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that is brilliant.
Do you know part of solving the clues is based on the reactions that
Yeah.
you have?
Oh, that's
So that actually helps.
Also,
genius.
the length of the beep. I'm like, oh, that was like an 8-second beep, so that's a long title.
Sean's gonna pack up the beeps now, Zoe.
Crank him out.
That's fair.
Right. Do you want to chuck your one on, Shaun?
Yeah, you got your Discords up.
Get your Discords up.
Get your Discords up. All right, I'm going to time you because so you're going to have 30 seconds, and your 30 seconds begins now.
Yay! Is it Project Winter?
Nope.
Damn.
It's going to ramp up in a
So
sec.
much pressure. I know.
I thought Frostpunk, but I don't think it is.
No, not Frostpunk. I'll send you.
I know you've done Frostpunk, haven't you? Yeah.
I'll send you it. Oh, it's so bad.
I can't take the suspense.
Damn.
No, I've got no fucking clue.
Oh.
Oh.
It's great.
I have no idea at this point.
Oh, I really need to pee. Oh,
Fantastic.
thanks.
That's so good.
Wait,
Oh.
Dunks, what was your clue again?
I can't remember. Skateboarding in Germany.
Okay, man. Fucking hell, that's an interesting edit.
So I think we'll wrap it up.
Oh.
Sure. I'll be here.
Oh, does that count as us winning then?
No!
No.
Didn't guess it live.
Then again, Harry changed the rules. But Zoe says she doesn't go by Harry's rules anyway.
I don't go by nobody's rules. I ain't gonna let a white man tell me what to do.
It's true.
In case you missed the last segment.
So thanks very much, guys, for coming on. I gotta keep hitting my glasses on my mic. Zoe, thanks very much for your segment. Again, please let us know if there's
Thank
anything
you
we
for
can
giving
do
me a
to help.
soapbox to stand on.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's a very important thing. I knew it was an issue, but because it doesn't happen to me, I'm obviously quite blind to it. So it's good to hear how fucking shit it is. So
Yeah.
but yeah, Paul, cheers.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for telling us about your penis.
I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hope. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
It's just
Fiery
doing all the trolls
penis.
new content to spit at me about my boyfriend.
Yeah.
You
What was that I said
did your-
yesterday? If I use menthol body wash, then it's
Oh,
a
Christ.
fisherman's friend.
Have you used the phrase hook, line, sinker yet?
Yes.
He's a right catch. Jesus Christ.
Dinner's ready in 10 minutes, so let's wrap it up. Yeah,
Wrap it
'cause I'm
up.
quite fucking hungry. Sean, do you want to do the outro and ting?
Yeah. Thanks for listening and watching, I guess, now that we actually have a video episode. I'll do a bit of a housekeeping. Follow us on Twitter, which is @GamersWatchCrew, and then subscribe to us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/GamersWatch, and hit the notification bell. I'm not going to say the times again. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, Duncan. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Sorry.
Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you on again. Yeah, same time next week, I guess.
And obviously, again, like a massive congrats to Harry on the birth of his new baby boy. I don't think the baby's got a name yet, but
No,
all
it
our
was-
love to
it was
Harry
out
Locke
2, wasn't
and
it?
Shannon. Yeah, was it that long ago? Oh, was it 2
Huh?
possible names? You
I
mean?
think he said 2 possible names the other day. If I remember
so
right.
often though, baby comes out and they're like, "You don't look like a whatever."
A
they've chosen."
Brody. Or Brody. Not sure about that. Not my baby. So it doesn't matter.
Just reminds me of Luke Harper.
Yes, exactly. Maybe he should call it Brody, and then and we can
Call
say
it
congrats
Brody.
on the wrestling. I don't want to assume it's gender. And then call the baby
Them?
after wrestling. Them. Call them Brody.
I really hope I'm going to find a
Yeah.
wrestler that is named whatever he calls it.
There
There you go. That's my task for next episode.
And Photoshop the baby's face.
Oh
Onto
Christ!
the
Paul, don't
wrestler.
encourage this. Just a poor defenseless baby. They don't deserve this.
He has sent us a picture of the baby. That's for another time though. Am I doing my line or am I doing Harry's line? And then you're doing my line.
I can't remember Harry's line, but I know your line, so I'll do that.
Sweet.
No, I don't remember
So-
it now. So I just remember this. What do you want to do your line?
Can do.
And I'll do Harry's line. There we go. Hey guys, remember, keep on listening.
And keep on gaming. Chitty bye.
Bye.
There's I forget how do you spell that? It's like it begins with a T or something, doesn't it? But you pronounce
it's Gaelic.
it cheery bye, don't you?
It's Gaelic, so the spelling is not
Okay.
phonetic to the English language, but it's cheery bye.
There's a shop in
Oh.
my local town called Cheery Buys. What are the chances?
How do they spell
So
that?
Like cheery,
thought-
as in CHERY, and then buys because it's a little discount shop. But there you go. What are the chances?
So I always
Meant
thought
to
it was
be.
CH. Yeah, what would I think? CHWRIE is how I spelled it in my head every time I heard it. How is
Are
it?
you
I'm
Googling
going to
it?
get the spelling. because I actually-
TIOR.
Is that nice?
TIOR.
That's Tio. That's not cheery.
You're
was
doing
it?
it so wrong, Paul.
See, I didn't know it either. It was Zoe that told me. Is that nice?
No, there's no H. TIOR.
Duncan's just
AIDH.
staring at his egg timer counting down to dinner right now.
I've needed a piss for 90
Yeah.
minutes now.
You
and
could have
I'm
said it
hungry.
rather than me having to type it
But
in
I
Google it.
don't. Yeah, it's TI with an accent. ORAIDH.
Right.
Cheery.
Cheery
I'll put it in
bye.
Discord chat.
Cheery.
But yeah, there's a little discount shop in Liscard
Cheery
called Cheery Buy. And you buy loads of cheap shit in there.
That's a really cute name.
cheap and
'Cause do you
cheerful.
guys not say cheery bye
What?
as like a
That
goodbye
is
sort of
not-
thing anyway?
Is that just the cheery bit, or is that cheery bye?
That's just
The whole-
cheating.
That's cheery.
That is not
Oh.
cheery. That is Teorade.
That's cheery in Gaelic.
I've heard like Cheery Buy, like, but it's not. I don't even ever lived anywhere where that's used regularly.
Well, cheery bye as a saying isn't. I don't think like traditional Gaelic like cheery is, but they would say like cheery andrasta, which is like see you soon, I think,
Hmm.
or see you
So-
tomorrow. Cheery
so it's like a-
andrasta.
It's like a slanged version of it, sort of thing.
Cheery andrasta
Yeah.
means so you know that saying like cheerio,
Yeah.
that comes from cheery.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheery andrasta
Right.
means goodbye for now. Yeah.
Cheery and
That's a really
Drasta
long way
then.
to say bye.
Albist.
Cheery and
Oh, I said it the
Drasta.
other way. Albist old butt.
Pip pip.
I really am going to piss myself